Hello everybody, welcome to the semi-final round of our Reddit tournament. There's just one more battle after this one, and then the winner will be decided, and that winner, of course, will get the processor, the i7 Intel processor, nicely provided by the Creative Assembly. Now, moving on, this is a video of my battle as Baktria versus Zannin as Parthia. We'll take a quick look at the armies here. I've got one Indian Armored Elephant as my general, two melee cavalry, two shock cavalry, and two missile cavalry in the form of Scythian archers, of course. I've got 5 Bactrian Peltast units and 2 Levy pikemen. The cost of the units have been tweaked since the last patch, so I can only cram 2 Levy pikemen in now, as opposed to 3 before, which kind of blows, but there you go, not much you can do. And finally, I've got 1 Thorax Swordsman. Now, as for Zannin, he has 1 Indian Elephant, 3 melee cavalry, 3 shock cavalry, 2 missile cavalry, 4 archer units, as well as 4 Parthian swordsmen. Now, here is our battle map. I'll explain my army composition right now. I've got a Bactrian Noble Horse and a Hellenic Cataphract on the flank, supported by a Bactrian Peltast, and that is exactly the same for the left flank as well. I've just got my Scythian Horse Archers here for moral support, I guess. They've got their little pom-poms, and they're looking quite cheery today. I've got my 2 Levy Pikemen, backed by my remaining 3 Peltasts. I've got my Thorax Swordsman snuggled right up against my general unit, like so. Now, for Zannin's army, when I first saw this army, I was thinking it was definitely an army built to counter, if not my army, then all Bactrian armies. And if not to counter, then at least diminish the advantage of Bactrian armies. For example, you can see that he has a ton of cavalry. He has actually more cavalry than I have, as well as horse archers, which are a great advantage in my Bactrian army. So he's outclassed me in cavalry, which is the backbone of my army, really, and his infantry basically outclasses my infantry as well. You can see he has 4 Parthian swordsmen and 4 light archers? Persian light archers, there we go. And they are stretched out very long. You can see that his line is quite a bit longer than my infantry line, and there's no way that I would be able to, you know, meet that line with mine. So it's not looking great for me at this point. And also the map. I'd never seen the map before. This is Nemetisena. I'd never seen this before, and it is definitely not great for my army, because as you've seen in my last videos, I rely on baiting cavalry units from the enemy army into traps in forests and whatnot, but unfortunately on this map I can't do anything. It's basically brute force, head-to-head. I mean, I dare say there's no maneuverability tactics, I suppose, because you can see every move the enemy is making, which is not really true to real life, I suppose. But anyway, right away, Zannin is throwing his Sarmatian horse archers, his mercenary archers, to my right flank, and I've got to move my archers to counter. For the first 5 minutes or so, this is basically what the battle is, just shuffling our units around, trying to get some advantage, because as I said, you know, you can't hide any of your movements, so whatever movement you make, the enemy's gonna move to counter, and then you get this kind of stalemate situation. I'm not a fan of this map as a result. I mean, this would be great for really heavy infantry-based armies, such as, you know, Rome. They're great on the open field, but, you know, if you were a barbarian faction, you'd be fucked no matter what. You know, a lot of your units are built around ambushing, and there's no ambushing to be done. So anyway, he was bringing his horse archers up on the left flank, and he's matched my cavalry wing with his cavalry wing. He's got light archers, noble blood, and also a Eastern Cataphract, which is basically a identical carbon copy of my flank, and we're just getting a few pot shots off here. There we go. He killed 5 of my Scythian horse archers with those few volleys. And now my fear here is I don't want to overextend, because we were, you know, right around here, which is very far from my main body of my army, so I don't want to overextend that cavalry flank, so I've got to retreat. And this is when I decide to commit to my elephants, because you know what, no matter what I bring is not, you know, it's not going to be able to defeat that carbon copy of my forces. So here he's shooting a few volleys at my Peltasts, and you know what, he can shoot to his heart's content. Those Peltasts have the armor value to see off those arrows. Not much movement from the rest of the army. It's just most of the action is happening on my right flank, his left. We're just doing some posturing with our cavalry, trying to get a foothold. And you know what? This basically goes on for a fucking eternity. Okay, so he has yet to lose a single man from his army, I believe. And here he gets a fire volley off on my elephants, which is not ideal. But there you go. You know, it's had to have happened at some point. So I'm trying to corral his horse archers in with my horse archers, and it's not going well. Now he's just actually pinned and cornered my horse archers, and they're going to get kind of fucked right here. Any second now, they're going to get 2 volleys in the front of their faces, and there we go. We just lost 10 men to that 1 volley. And I suppose I decided to chase him down and try to corral him in once again as I move the rest of my wing up. I've now got my elephants moving, which is a great boon. I probably should have grabbed more peltasts, perhaps one of the units from the infantry body, and maybe I should have even committed a large amount of these forces on the left flank, because as you can see, he doesn't have a whole lot on the left flank. I mean, he's got noble blood, and that's about it. He's got all of his cataphracts hidden away somewhere else, and also his Sarmatian lancers, but they're not really going to be too effective against my pike force. So I probably could have taken a few units and not, like, for example, my Baktria noble horse, or even my peltasts. I could have taken them to help in the attack on the right flank. Oh shit, as you can see, those 2 units of horse archers actually destroyed a large amount of mine with very minimal losses on their side. All of these dead horsemen are actually mine, so that's great. Like I said, though, I could have taken a few units from the left flank here, because the rest of his flank would not really be a threat to my infantry, but there you go. At this point, I think it's a good idea to move my infantry body to the right, just to reduce the overextension from my cavalry wing, because as you can see, they are quite a bit of ways from the rest of my force, and at this point Zannin decides that it would be a good idea to attack my infantry, which would actually be true because they are out of position. And look how well drilled these guys are. In a moment's notice, they are facing the enemy yet again. Now, something to point out at this point is I somehow forget to put my levy pikemen into pike formation for the entire length of the battle, which is a bit of a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, this whole assault on the right flank here. Zannin is shifting his line to meet my line, since I've moved mine to the right, and I'm now advancing with a large force of cavalry. Yeah, this is probably not going to go well for me, and in fact, it doesn't. It does not go well in the least. But nevertheless, Zannin is making some moves on the right flank. He's got his noble blood cavalry ready to pull off some charges, and I've got my cavalry ready to counter. At this point, though, I'm just trying to shift all my units and get them into position to do one solid charge. And you know what? I really don't wait long enough. I probably should have waited a little longer, but there you go. My Scythian horse archers get absolutely boot-fucked right here. Boom! They take a couple volleys from all these different archer units, and there they go. They are actually eliminated in the fucking field on the right here. Look at that. My entire unit has broken, and they're gone, leaving my Indian armored elephants and my 2 cavalry units and 1 Bactrian peltast to face all of these units. So I don't really know where I designate these charges. I think I get my cataphracts to charge their cataphracts. My intention is to get these peltasts to take down those cataphracts as well, but unfortunately, Zannin gets a lucky charge, well, not a charge, a volley there, and actually gets my Indian armored elephants to go out of control on the first volley. I mean, it was probably inevitable. If not with that archer unit, then probably with these 2 Sarmatian horse archers. So now, I'm trying to take out those archers before they can do any more damage. And you know what? This is another huge problem for me right now. My Bactrian peltasts are being absolutely dominated by my own elephants, and I desperately needed those peltasts to see off these Indian war elephants. So, lucky for Zannin, that first volley was what did it. If it took 2 or 3, it may have been a slightly different story, but I imagine my forces would probably have been annihilated just the same. So now, my Hellenic cataphracts have seen off those archers, and I'm going to charge them into elephants because I believe the cataphracts have a... Oh, no, I pull my 2 units of cavalry back because I believe I'm going to chase after Zannin's unit here. I can't quite recall. But anyway, I'm not sure what's going on in the middle here either, but for some reason, Zannin has his Parthian swordsman lined right up, and I am actually moving my units past his. I don't know what that's about. That's another small error on my point. So at this point, let's take a look at how that resulted. I've got half my Hellenic cataphracts left, half my Bactrian noble horse, and all of my Indian elephants, but my peltas have actually been destroyed. So I've lost 2 units on the right flank already, and one of them is, well, the elephants have now regained their composure. They are ready to face the battle now. So I'm charging after his eastern cataphract unit over here. My peltas, well, they're basically done. I really could have used them to take out these Indian war elephants, but there you go. Nothing really happened. So my Bactrian noble horse have charged those eastern cataphracts, and you know what? It did not go well for them. And my Hellenic cataphracts have charged them, and it's probably not going to go well for them either. They are desperately undermanned. So as you can see, my infantry body at this moment is a little disorganized, and Zannin is moving his cavalry in. And as I said before, I do not actually deploy those pikes, which is a large problem when facing cavalry. Who'd have thunk? But my Bactrian noble horse are moving to take out those Sarmatians, rather, but they get intercepted by these noble blood. Bit of a mistake. They're going to get annihilated by those Indian war elephants right away. But my cataphracts are able to come around the rear and put a charge on those Parthian swordsmen. And I've actually got an organized infantry body now. I've got my 2 levy pikemen in the chevron type situation, but no pikes. No pikes at all. I take 2 peltas to the right flank to try to take out those Indian war elephants and the remaining heavy units there, but it's no use. No use at all. My remaining peltas have been corralled in by these cavalry units, and they're now getting charged. I missed that when it happened. And it's probably not the greatest. I've lost quite a few men from those units already. At some point, I turn my pikemen around to try to pull those cavalry units into my pikes. As you can see, I'm pulling my peltas out. And here we go. I turn my pikes around, but like I said, no pikes, so that's kind of useless. I've now presented the rear of my pikes to the enemy. But it was a gamble to take out those cavalry units. My peltas are mostly ineffective on those Indian war elephants, and my general has probably died at this point. And now they're getting charged by some Sarmatian, oh no, noble blood cavalry, and there we go, they're routing. All my units are routing. Because my general died, my pikemen are gone, my Bactrian peltas are gone. The only holdout is my thorax swordsmen, and they're being attacked by Parthian swordsmen and archers, and that's it. That is the end of the battle. It's quite a decisive defeat, I gotta say. I'm not proud, but it's definitely well played by Zannin. Few mistakes on my part, and that one volley I think was probably the turning point when he routed my elephants. Well, not routed them, but made them just fucking lose their shit on the first volley. That was quite a stroke of luck for Zannin. But regardless of that, I think the outcome probably would have been the same. Zannin was the better general on this day, and probably any other day of the week as well. But anyway, we'll take a look at the casualties. So, right off the bat, Zannin had 200 more men than I did, but I did lose 400 more men than he did. I lost 896 men. He only killed 780 of those. So, around 120 men were killed by my Indian armored elephants, which is not great. That would have been my entire peltas unit, quite a bit of my Hellenic cataphracts, and my Bactrian noble horse as well. Yeah, so, as you can see, the majority of his army is intact, barely taking any casualties, but, you know, inflicting quite a few casualties themselves, especially these Sarmatian Lancers and his Royal Cataphracts. But anyway, like I said, Zannin, well done. You will be moving on to the final round of the tournament. Congratulations on your win, and also good luck for the future. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm now officially out of the tournament. I'm just kidding. I didn't expect to get this far in the first place, but anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next video.